Who again? Who?
I happen to love very much.
Who?
Zachariah was Joshua Began Eden, they say. His soul should rest in peace. Amazing, amazing Rav. He's taught me a lot of Torah. And we heard a shir by him recently. In our Purim. He started with a true story. And he likened the story to Purim. He says there was a boy, his name was Chaim. He went to his parents and he asked them for a bicycle. The parents were more old school European. They weren't the new school, who right away give everything. The parents said, listen, you're going to bring me 3 grades of 100, 3 straight grades of 100, you get the bike. The boy struggled a little bit in school, but he really tried his best. He wasn't really able to hit this goal. 80s, he definitely did better, but he wasn't able to hit this goal. But the parents already were, look how hard he's trying, we'll still get him something. That week, he was coming home from school, he was on Ocean Parkway, he sees the walk signal and he's crossing the street. Unfortunately, a drunk driver hits him head on. And the kid goes flying, 20, 25 feet. Broken bones, right away.
Is this a true story?
True story. Right away, the parents, of course, get called and they're brought to the hospital. And they say, we don't want you guys to have too much hope. He's in critical condition. He's hanging on by a thread. The internal hemorrhaging, the brain, there's too much trauma. We're sorry. And they're already, the doctor comes out, he's like, listen, we're still fighting. Let's start making arrangements. I know that religious people have their certain ways they need to do things. Once the body passes, they need certain people to handle the body. This young couple is thinking about their 7-year-old Chaim and they're destroyed. They're like, what do we do? They call their rabbi, the rabbi puts them in touch with Chevra Kadisha, they're already asking them questions, dates, this, that, would you have a plot? Nurse comes out 20 minutes later, and her face says it all. Her face is already drawn, and she says, I'm very sorry to inform you, and I'm sorry that I have to be the one to give you the news, but he wasn't able to hold on. He's passed. Parents are destroyed. How do you, the mom, they're screaming, they're wailing in grief. You cannot control them. There's no control. She's on the floor, the husband is just like holding his head. It's a tragedy on a different level to lose such a young child. The Chevra Kadisha is already on their way. 10 minutes later, the doctor comes out. He says, I don't want to give you hope. I tried one more time, and the beat is back. The pulse is back. We're going to keep working. Well, I'm just informing you, okay? He was flatlined. I was like, you know what? I just tried one more time. He's back. 15, 20 minutes after that, he says, we have him steady. I don't know how, we have him steady. A few days later, he approaches them. After very hard-wrecking days, he's still alive. He approaches them. He says, we're ready to bring him out of the coma. He was in an induced coma. But we think that he's stable enough. Somehow, he made this miraculous turnaround, and we're ready to bring him out of the coma. He's ready to meet you guys. They come into the room. They said, don't bombard him. He might be a little bit jostled. He might have memory loss. He might not even recognize you. He opens his eyes slowly, and he sees his parents, and he smiles. And they see that he recognizes them, and they have such joy. The first question, what do you think the first question they asked him was?
He asked them?
What do you think the first question the parents asked the kid was?
What is my bike?
What is this alive?
How many different types of bikes do you want? How many colors do you want? We're going to get you the entire store of bikes. They were thinking the whole time in the room, all he asked us for was a bike. Could you imagine if he leaves this world without a bike? So how does this connect to Purim? It's a true story, but how does it connect to Purim? Purim, the decree was signed, not just here, not just in this world, but the decree was signed in Shemayim. Hashem gave the stamp on the decree. And we are, as you all know, Hashem's ultimate children. So when he signed this decree, he couldn't. He already tried to catch us with the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash. It didn't work. So now we're in Galut. So different Mefarshim say there's different reasons for this decree being signed. Some people say it was a Su'udah, which we're making up for today. This Su'udah, when you're washing, that's why I kept saying wash, because it's rectifying the sin that our ancestors did at the Su'udah al-Chashverosh. Some people say it was because many people bow down to the idol of Nebuchadnezzar. We know that Daniel the Tzaddik refused this, but many people did. They succumbed to the pressure. We're saying between the two of them, this is the reason why the decree was signed. Hashem signed the decree, the angels brought it, they're like, that's it. The proof is here. You have to sign the decree. You cannot defend your children anymore. Mordechai, they said, and Eliyahu and Avi team up. Eliyahu and Avi approaches Mordechai and says, we have to do something. This is Midrash. So they go to the Neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe says, I cannot help, even I cannot help you. But there's one thing that can help you. If the decree is not signed in blood, you still have a chance. But if the decree is signed in blood, it won't work. So what does this mean? Rabbi Wallerstein gave a beautiful explanation. What does blood mean? So Eliyahu and Avi looked into the contract, and he tells Mordechai the good news, and he says it's signed in ink, and they start dancing. And what does that mean? It says Eliyahu and Avi looked into the future. It says there was no blood spilled at the time of Purim. So that means no blood was used to sign the contract. In Shemayim, you remember I explained this once before, time is not linear. Time is all together. Past, present, and future is all together. So if there was actual blood spilled, that blood would have been used to sign the contract. When they saw that there was no blood, they saw that in the future there will be no blood. So and they knew that they had a chance. And Moshe said, this is your chance. Use the tears of Am Yisrael to wipe away the ink on that contract. Reverse it. And that's when the prayer started. So how does this tie into the story? Hashem almost lost his children. We are his children and he almost lost us. So today when we ask him for that bicycle, you think he's going to tell us no? This is the power. You guys don't understand. This nates. Why do I push for nates on Purim? This is the power. This is the time. Boaz wants a Tesla. This is the time. All of us. This is the time. This is the time. Guys, to ask, this is the day to ask. Hashem almost lost us. So he won't turn you away. If it's the right time for him to answer yes to your prayers, maybe it's going to be later. If you don't get it right away, understand that Hashem has a reason for when you're going to get things, but he won't tell you no.